Then the next one, please. Okay, the other thing that I'm involved in is community art. And this is a project in Jamaica. It's called the Ice Street Lab. So you see these little mobile garbage cans here. They're actually retrofitted into a media lab. So you can roll up on any street corner and set up shop, and you have a fully functioning recording studio or video studio or anything that you want. And it's meant to reach the hardest to reach kids, you know, that are street engaged and in all kinds of situations where they wouldn't be coming to a community center or any kind of establishment. So I was really privileged to be a part of this project. It was started by Mervyn Jarman, who actually started up the Container Project, which is a really cool media lab in the middle of a small village in Jamaica in a shipping container. And okay, so the next one is performance art, which is what I'm going to talk about. So these are a couple of my pieces, the Red, White, and Beautiful Tour and the Final Frontier. So I'm going to speak mainly about the Red, White, and Beautiful Tour, and I'll tell you a little bit about how I made it, why I made it, and what I've learned from doing it. Okay, next. Yeah, so I'll speak a little bit about my practice and just where the work comes from and what sustains it. Okay, next. Okay, so, all right, so this piece here, and I could just tell you the story. Maybe that's the best thing. Okay, so what you will hear, if you're going to hear it, is the story that I tell ad nauseum. This is the real story. Basically, I was walking through a mall in North Bay, and as I'm walking through this mall, everybody is staring at me. And in that moment, this idea of this multiculti Canada that everybody should belongs to, aren't we multicultural, just totally felt like an irony. And the image of myself as a representative of everything Canadian just popped into my head. And it was just a moment. And for years, I kept having this persistent image, and I kept thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. Why am I thinking about this? But it would not go away. So finally, I donned the tiara, and I went out and just started making appearances as Miss Canadiana. And you know what? Just play it, because even though you can't hear it, you'll be able to see it. So that's good. So yeah, so it's been a really interesting journey. And this was 19, oh my God, how old am I? This was 2002 when I first started doing this work. And I thought it was just going to last, I don't know, a year or something like that. But even now, there's still a demand for it. And it's been an interesting project. It's taken me into all kinds of different places that I would never have been invited into. It really kind of, I don't know, it's a project, whoops, I guess I gotta just stand here, right? It's a project that kind of breaks down a lot of boundaries, but also crosses a lot of boundaries. And it's very complex. On the surface, it looks really simple, but there's a lot of complexity there. I remember the first time I was interviewed by the media. It was CBC, Radio 1, and it took forever for them to release it, and I kept wondering, what's wrong? Why aren't they releasing it? Well, they had this big conversation amongst themselves. It's like, oh, who does she think she is doing this there, you know? She's impersonating somebody. She's a fraud, she's a fake. And then they realized, well, we've been talking about this for all this time. There must be something to it. Let's just go ahead and release it. So it was quite amazing. It just kind of released this big avalanche. And Yeah, so it's been a really interesting journey. So it's taken me all over the place. This is a piece that was in a Year Zero One project called Teletaxi. So I was in Chinatown. I was in a bunch of different places in Toronto. This is in Germany, in Senegal, in the UK, and this is in Ottawa. Trafalgar Square, in yeah. And people swear they know who I am. This woman's like, "Dear, weren't you on TV?" Yeah. So yeah. Yes. All that's the thing. Right. Yeah. It's kind of all of those things. That's the thing that's so interesting. I think if I was trying to build a project that had all those things, I don't know that I would have been able to do it. This image just came to me and it had those things in it. It was all there. It was like all the things I'd been thinking about all along was just like one, naked singularity it was reduced to. Yeah, exactly. And it is to me too. I mean, I remember going to friends' cottages and it's like, oh, this is so Canadiana. And, so it is. I mean, it's got a lot of humor and a lot of irony and a lot of, it's satirical. But then there's this really fun, playful thing. And what happens, the interactions with people is absolutely genuine. Oh my God, did you say 3 minutes? Ah, okay. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I mean, these are the things that I see in the work. It's a public engagement. It definitely holds up a mirror. People see themselves, and people choose to engage at whatever level they're on. What one person sees is not what the other person sees, and I love that about it. It poses questions. It gives more questions than it gives answers, and it really confronts people's assumptions. You know. So I really love the way it does that and allows me to be able to have these kind of dialogues. Next, please.